What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know how much it pains me to do something like this. This is where, we killed the Joneses all off season. It was the longest off season. We literally heard that this is the worst off season that the Dallas Cowboys have ever had. How could they let Amari Cooper go and Randy Gregory? The team. The pundits were killing it. They were killing us. They were telling us how stupid we were to get rid of Connor Williams and Lyle Collins. You know what? I hate to say that Catboy was right. He said back in April, we hate to lose Randy Gregory, but with Dorance Armstrong, he's right there with production. And guess what people did? What did people do? They're like, you cheap son of a gun. You literally pee-peeing on our head and trying to make us think that it's raining. That's what you're trying to do. There is no way, no how, in any stretch of the imagination, anybody thought that Randy Gregory equaled Dorance Armstrong. It just didn't seem the way. But yet, here we are, 5 games into the season, and Dorance Armstrong has been an absolute positive beast. The Dallas Cowboys, there's the New York Stock Exchange. I think we need to have the Dallas Cowboys Sack Exchange because they getting sacks like mother humpers. They are averaging 4 sacks per game. Right now, they are only behind the San Francisco 49ers, which has 4.2 sacks per game. We are on a tear to break the Dallas Cowboys all-time season record. If the Cowboys can bump it up just a little bit more, they could break the season record held by the 85 Bears, which is 72. Be that as it may, the Cowboys defense is playing great, but Dorance Armstrong had 1 sack yesterday, had a sack against the Giants, had 2 against the Bengals. 4 sacks. Randy Gregory's best season ever was 6.5 sacks. But the amazing thing about Dorance Armstrong? We were looking at a 5-year, $70+ million contract for Randy Gregory. Catboy, who told you that production standpoint, he's right there. Dorance Armstrong, who's younger, doesn't get the penalties that Randy Gregory did. Instead of signing a 5-year, $70 million contract, they signed a 2-year, $13 million contract, literally paying him half. Half, Eddie. I want half. Half of what they were going to pay Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory, right now, he's actually having his knee scoped for a meniscus tear. Interesting, to say the least. One other one I'm going to put out here that is maybe a little bit of a surprise too, because we were talking about Amari Cooper and how bad that is for the Cowboys to have let him gone. Well, for the most part, the Cowboys have been using more 2 wide receiver sets and some 12 personnel, which has benefited them. And, of course, with the offense the way we are currently constructed, which is don't make the mistakes. Very rarely are we using a lot of 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets. And so having 2 big-name wide receivers, you actually wonder if the Cowboys were looking at this beyond just Cooper Rush, beyond Cooper Rush being the starting quarterback, if this was part of the plan all along, drafting Jake Ferguson, and, of course, keeping Peyton Hendershot and McKenna to start trying to focus on. We heard the Cowboys say we want to focus in on running the football. And you do that by sometimes using that 2 tight end sets. And if you're trying to say we're trying to pick up more production from the running back, maybe you look at it and say we don't need as many wide receivers. Not to say that Amari Cooper isn't a great wide receiver to have, right? But you look at it and say, CeeDee Lamb's still on his rookie contract. We're going to have to pay him possibly next year or the year after. He's younger, and you hope that his upside is there. Versus Amari Cooper, who you're paying $21 million a year. So production-wise, let's take a look real quick before we get out of here, because I'm going to get something to eat before we do our live stream tonight. Amari Cooper has played in 5 games, 27 receptions, 304 yards, 3 TDs, 11.3 yard average, 32 being his long catch. CeeDee Lamb, 28 receptions, 341 yards, 2 TDs, 12.2 yards per reception. Longest, 30 yards. So CD has 1 more catch, has 37 more yards, 1 less TD, but on yards per reception has about an additional yard. Now, I will say CeeDee Lamb had some drops. He had one that was like literally straight up a touchdown that would have literally blown away Amari Cooper's numbers. Now, if this team continues to play where they are now, and I hope that they end up saying with this defense, it's great to be able to play this way on offense, but you got to have the defense to be able to do this. If you're playing offense like this and you have the defense that we had in 2020, you're getting blown out. You just are. There's a difference in the style of play when the defense can shut down offenses. So you don't have to be, trying to score on every single down. So you can start playing the games of field position and saying, you know what, if we can get a couple of yards here and back them up, our defense can stop them and give us the ball with better field position. And you may take less risk with the biscuit, which is what the Cowboys have done. And you have a tendency when you have a Cadillac out there, or I guess a Cadillac, you want to go ahead and run that bad boy because it looked good. But sometimes you don't need to push it on out there that hard. You can just kind of kick back, relax, let the defense and special teams do your thing. And that is what has worked. And I hope that the Cowboys continue that formula. This reminds me a lot of what happened with the Dallas Cowboys in 2014. Before DeMarco Murray was able to really run the football like he did, we relied on Tony Romo throwing the hell out of the football. And if Tony Romo did not get us the victory, we weren't winning. 2014, we were closer to being 50-50 as far as pass and run. We had 1,800 yards plus from DeMarco Murray. We had like 3,600 yards passing from Tony Romo, which is like 1,200 yards off of his normal seasons. But we were kicking ass and taking names, and we were a catch, no catch away from being in the NFC Championship game. So we'll see what happens on that. But I did want to say that Catboy was right. And I hope to see you during our live stream. Peace.